are minutes away from the first pitch here at Miller Park. The sun is shining. The roof is open. The Brewers and the Pirates, the series finale. The fans streaming in, hoping to see a Brewer victory and a series victory. James McDonald, an impressive young right-hander for the Pirates. He is 4-2 against Michael Fiers. His Miller Park debut after a sensational effort in his first MLB start Tuesday in Los Angeles. Good afternoon, everyone. Mark Concannon live at the ballpark. No TV broadcast last night of the Pirates and the Brewers. Wanted to get you caught up on a very nice effort for Milwaukee as they beat the Buccos in Game 2. It started at the bottom of the second. Brooks Conrad, a sacrifice fly that brought in the first run of the game to make it 1-zip. In the fourth, Garrett Jones' home run would tie it at 1. But in the bottom of the fourth, big doings for the Brewers. Cody Ransom with a base hit. That produced 2 to make it 3-1. And then the story of the game offensively, how about Brooks Conrad? 0 for 27 before that big fly. A 2-run shot to make it 4-1. And Sean Markham, sensational. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts. And his 4th win of the season. Unfortunately, though, the Brewers will be somewhat shorthanded today. They will play today without the heart of their order, Ryan Braun with hip and Achilles issues. Aramis Ramirez, a strained quadriceps. He is out today as well. They are day to day. We'll see what happens on the off day tomorrow after some further medical evaluation. Coming up, can Michael Fiers have another big game in his second Major League start? Craig and Rock will break it down as we're minutes away from the first pitch here at Miller Park on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
A beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball at Miller Park. It's Game 3, the rubber game between the Pirates and the Brewers. And Milwaukee sending another rookie out on the hill. It's Mike Fiers making his second Major League start, his first in front of the home fans. Hi, everybody. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Craig Kashan. And boy, Mike Fiers looking good last Tuesday in his Major League debut on the mound as a starter anyway. Now, in front of the home fans, I'll tell you what, Rock, if he can match what he did, he's going to be very popular in this city.
Yeah, you know what was impressive about that start for Fiers in L.A. was the fact that he was not nervous. He came out in the first inning after Ryan Braun gave him a 2-0 lead with a home run. He just continued to pound the strike zone all day. He was really never in any trouble throughout the game until that 7th inning, but 7 strong innings, only 1 earned run, and look at the walks. No walks in his first ever Major League start. Let's see if he can duplicate that here today.
And he was very efficient as well, just 89 pitches, showed a lot of emotion as well, and he's set to take the mound here for his second start. Again, his first in front of the home crowd. We'll see if the Brewers can continue to pound the Pirates. That home dominance here at Miller Park got back on track Saturday. Can they capture the series? We'll find out when we come back. It is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
You never had it so good.
Doesn't matter which uniform the Brewers are wearing here at Miller Park. They seem to beat up the Pittsburgh Pirates. Got a big win last night. And check it out, a 39-5 record dating back to the 2007 season here at Miller Park. Impressive. They're scoring better than 6 runs a game, and they're pitching very well against the Pirates. The ERA just over 3, wearing the Cerveceros uniforms last night. They have a chance now to win this series. As you see the beautiful statue of Robin Yount outside Miller Park, along with Bill Schroeder. I'm Craig Kashan, Mark Concannon on the sidelines for today's game. It is Game 3. Clint Hurdle is the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, veteran manager in his second season trying to lead this Pittsburgh Pirates team back to a winning record, and they have a .500 record coming in to this afternoon's game. And it's Mike Fiers out on the hill, and he will face Jose Tabata in this first matchup. And first pitch is in for a strike as Mike Fiers, the young rookie, showed a lot of poise on Tuesday night in his first major league start. Are you looking for the same tonight?
Well, we'll see. I mean, the one thing that was impressive about Fiers in that start against LA, his first ever major league start, how many strikes he was able to throw.
Corey Hart going after this, very close to the line and just foul off the wall. Let's take a look at the Piggly Wiggly starting lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's Tabata, then Neil Walker, and Andrew McCutchen to bat here in the first. Jones batting cleanup. Matt Haig, Casey McGee, the former Brewer, gets the start for the first time in this series. Baraja is doing the catching. Barmes at short, and James McDonald is pitching. And he goes up against Mike Fiers, and those are the numbers from Tuesday against the Dodgers.
Yeah, really got a lot of mileage out of his fastball. Fiers down in the minor leagues this year, only 1-3, a .442 earned run average in 10 starts. In 2011, he was the minor league pitcher of the year for the Brewers organization.
Phil Cuzzi behind the plate calling balls and strikes here this afternoon. Jerry Davis is the crew chief over at third base. 0-2 pitch to Tabata, just misses inside.
Man, hitters will tell you that he has a delivery, that he hides the baseball pretty well. That 89-mile-an-hour fastball, just missing the inside corner. No Pirate has ever faced Mike Fiers, at least in the big leagues.
And he strikes out Tabata for the first out here on this Sunday afternoon.
Good curveball down in the strike zone with 2 strikes, and Tabata swings right over the top of it. This is the delivery that we were talking about, the way he's able to turn his back to the hitter. That baseball just comes right at you very late. It's tough to pick up.
Neil Walker now steps in to face Mike Fiers, the 27-year-old Florida native. Called into duty, of course, as the Brewers' 5th starter is Chris Narveson on the disabled list, and Marco Estrada, trying to fill his spot, lands on the disabled list as well. And Mike Fiers doing a nice job in his first start, wants to follow it up here this afternoon. And before today's game, Ron Renicky saying that Fiers might get several starts. Marco Estrada's progress not quite where they thought it would be at this point. Brewers continue to battle the injury bug. Of course, Ryan Braun and Aramis Ramirez not in today's game either. Hit hard to center field. Nyjer Morgan going back and spins around a couple of times over his head. And Walker will trot into second base with a 1-out double. Hit that ball very hard.
And Neil Walker, a switch hitter, and throughout his career he's had good success against Milwaukee. You can see what Nyjer Morgan's dealing with the shadows, the ball coming out of the darkness of the shadows and into the sunlight. Morgan kind of turned himself around. That ball was slicing as it got out to center field.
9th double this season for Walker. Of course, on Friday night, Nyjer Morgan misplayed a ball in the 3rd inning as well. That's one of the toughest positions to play, that center field, with that ball coming straight at you, those low liners. This one clearly over his head, however. So Walker sits at second base, 1 out for Andrew McCutchen. Clearly Pittsburgh's best hitter at .335, coming in with 8 home runs and 28 RBIs.
Yeah, when you talk about a guy that can do just about everything to help win a game for you, it's Andrew McCutchen. Defensively, he's got a good arm, he's got good range, and he can hit. He can steal bases.
There's a strike from Fiers, and he's having a very good series. The extra base hits that we saw on Friday, the double and the triple, 3 RBIs in this series as well. He is a run producer for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Fiers takes a look back at Walker at second base. Fiers, the Brewers pitcher of the year a year ago in the minor leagues. 13-3 record, a 1.86 ERA. 132 strikeouts in 126 innings of work. Pitched for Huntsville and Nashville, making 18 starts a year ago in the minors. Second big league start here this afternoon, and McCutchen lines one to center. That falls in front of Aoki. And so first and third with one out here in the first inning for the Pirates as they make a threat against Fiers. Take a look at that defense behind Fiers here today. Brought to you by Menards. Aoki in left for Braun, Morgan in center, and Hart out in right. Green at third for Ramirez. Ransom back at short. Weeks and Conrad at first. Maldonado behind the plate.
And Taylor Green's been all over that infield for Ron Renicky. First, second, now third base. The picking's a bit slim for Renicky on that bench from Milwaukee.
It is something to see the lineup today, but they're out there playing. This is Major League Baseball, and you never know what's going to happen from game to game. This team actually holding its own, of course, this week very well. The sweep in L.A. They came back and got a win yesterday. Of course, the second day back after a late night travel always was a big question mark, but the team looked refreshed and ready to go.
Yeah, 6-3 in their last 9 games. That's a pretty good stretch for a team that's beat up as much as Milwaukee. It all comes down to pitching, though. Pitching relatively healthy except for Marco Estrada, and this is the spot that he would ordinarily be pitching in. You talk to Fiers about that start against the Dodgers. He'll tell you that the fact that Maldonado was behind the plate in that game, both making the first major league starts, helped him a lot. Now, Maldonado was his catcher down in the minor leagues. That familiarity really calmed them both down, I think.
And he just made a trip to the mound to talk to Fiers. Maldonado's done an exceptional job behind the plate since Jonathan Lucroy went down and on the disabled list, and we'll expected to see a lot of Maldonado behind the plate. George Koutaris still hobbling, has been for about a week now. Caught Randy Wolf the other night, but got through everything just fine. But Maldonado, good defensive catcher. Fiers paying a lot of attention to McCutchen over at first base right now. Garrett Jones at the plate. He homered in the game yesterday. That was Pittsburgh's only run in a 5-1 Brewer victory.
And one of the few guys that has the power to make a difference in this lineup. McCutchen the other one.
Here's the 2-0. McCutchen on the run. Maldonado throws, and it is in time.
Are you kidding me? How about that throw? Welcome to the big leagues, Martin Maldonado. Talk about a throwing arm. My goodness, it's not easy to throw out Andrew McCutchen. All the accolades, not enough for this young man behind home plate. Check it out. Look at the delivery to throw right on the money, and Cody Ransom, all he has to do is drop the glove. Look at that throw, and not even close at second base.
Martin Maldonado, Ron Renicky was just saying before the game how happy he is with him behind the plate. Very content with Maldonado getting extensive playing time right out of the gates on his call-up in big league action.
And he's a take charge guy behind there. It doesn't matter if he's only been here a week. I mean, when he's catching, I mean, he will work a pitcher through a game. It doesn't matter who it is. He loves to catch. Takes a lot of pride in it and enjoys doing it.
A big out for the Brewers. Runner at third, 2 down now. As Jones continues to bat. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss on the changeup. Fiers gets through it with a little help. Maldonado with the bullet. His team to bat for the first time here. A good start for Milwaukee despite giving up 2 hits in the opening frame. A scoreless game right now. Here's your Piggly Wiggly batting order. And it's a different look here today. Aoki, Morgan, and Hart, 1, 2, 3. Taylor Green in the cleanup role. Then Weeks, Ransom, Conrad, who had his first home run yesterday. Maldonado, and then Mike Fiers. And they'll pose James McDonald, who is really in a big-time groove right now as he makes his 11th start of the season, and will open up out of the gates against Nori Aoki.
Man, this guy has been about as consistent as any starter in the big leagues this year. Hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any of his 10 starts so far this year. An 0-2 record career against Milwaukee.
And he's on a streak right now of 13 consecutive scoreless innings. 27-year-old making his 58th big league start. And Aoki's numbers looking pretty doggone good, up near 300 on the season. Slaps it the other way to left field. Tabata going back and just ahead of the warning track makes the catch for the first out. Let's take a look at Menard's defense behind McDonald today. Tabata, McCutchen, and Jones left to right in that outfield. Casey McGee, the former Brewer, at third. Barmes at short. Walker at second. Hag over at first. And Rod Barajas, the veteran catcher, the receiving mate of James McDonald here this afternoon. So 1 out now for Nyjer Morgan, the Brewers center fielder. Nyjer, a couple of hits in this series. Of course, got his first RBI of the season on Friday night, courtesy of his first home run. (18) consecutive games now using a different starting lineup for Ron Roenicke. Again, no Braun, no Ramirez in today's game, the 2 significant hitters for Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's somewhat unusual, and Ron Roenicke doing a nice job trying to patchwork this lineup together each and every day, trying to work, the matchups, trying to get guys in different positions. You've got Conrad at first, you've got Taylor Green at third, Maldonado behind home plate. So it's been a tough season for the Brewers skipper as far as being able to put together any continuity in that batting order.
2-2 to Morgan, up the middle, and he will be safe, as Barmes had a tough time handling that hop. And it's going to be an error right out of the gates for Clint Barmes, the veteran shortstop.
Yep, 7th error for Clint Barmes. It's been a rough year for Barmes. Hitting 167, committing an error here in the first inning. There's that fastball by McDonald. Doesn't have much on it. It's about 91, 92. It hit the mound, hopped up, and then he couldn't play the hop.
So Morgan over at first for Corey Hart, 1 down here in the Brewer first inning. Morgan draws a throw. Corey Hart in right field again here this afternoon. 253 on the season. Has a home run in this series. Corey Hart going back and forth from right field to first base here in the last week or so.
And a lot of different spots in that batting order, too. Corey's been the swing man. You never know when he comes to the ballpark where he's going to be or what spot in the batting order he's going to hit. But he's been able to stay relatively consistent, at least driving in runs.
He's enjoyed that top of the order for Milwaukee. 309 when he leads off. High fly ball here at the open roof at Miller Park. And it's caught out there in right field by Jones. 2 down now here in the Brewer first. Well, that'll bring up Taylor Green.
Third baseman, Taylor Green.
He's the Brewers' cleanup hitter here this afternoon, and the 5th different player now to bat in the cleanup spot in this lineup so far this season. And yes, if you guessed they used only 1 a year ago, you were right.
Well, a number of different first basemen, a number of different cleanup hitters, and yes, indeed. I mean, the Prince Fielder effect is being felt. There's certainly no fault of Milwaukee, that's for sure.
Well, it's not because he left, that's for sure. They're dealing with what a lot of teams have to deal with from year in and year out. Something they didn't have to deal with a lot of last year, and that was injuries. And like you said, Rock, to open up this game and to be 6-3 in their last 9 games, somehow they're holding it together, and,
yes.
and a large part of that on that road trip.
Doing it against the what was the best record in baseball, the Dodgers, and a team for the Pirates that has put together some very good pitching, and perhaps their best on the mound today.
Nyjer Morgan drawing a lot of attention from McDonald. 6 stolen bases on the season for Nyjer. He's been running a little bit more this season. He had 13 all of last year. He's been active when he's been able to get on base.
You got a pretty good throwing catcher behind home plate in Rod Barajas.
The 1-1 to Taylor Green. Outside.
And McDonald will give you a slide step once in a while, but he's 6'4", 205 pounds. So when he gives you that high leg kick, that's the one you want to run on if you can anticipate when he's going to do it. He throws a lot of breaking balls. That's another pitch you want to run on.
Morgan on the move, swing and a miss by Green. The throw is late. So Nyjer Morgan with the stolen base, number 7 on the season.
Yeah, high throw from Barajas. If it's on the bag like the one Maldonado threw in the top of this inning, he's going to be out. But Nyjer now in scoring position, number 7 on the year.
And the Brewers have a chance to take advantage of an error that put Morgan on base. Now he's in scoring position. See if Taylor Green can come through with a big 2-out single here to bring home Morgan. Morgan on the move again.
Yeah, good jump by Nyjer on that last stolen base. Pretty good lead, but an excellent jump. McDonald gave him the slide step. It was a fast ball, but a high throw, and Nyjer able to get into second base. And he had third base stolen had Green not fouled it off.
So we'll do it over again. Here's the 2-2. This is outside. A full count now to Taylor Green. Green making his 3rd start of the season over at third base. McDonald acquired by Pittsburgh back in 2010 at the trade deadline from the Dodgers for Octavio Dotel. Green down the left field line. That's going to fall in and go all the way to the wall. Morgan easily scores. And Green goes to second base with a 2-out RBI double to give the Brewers a 1-0 advantage.
A nice piece of hitting by Taylor Green, taking a pitch away from him and driving it into left field. So the error comes back to haunt Pittsburgh, and the Brewers take a 1-0 lead. There's that fastball away. Good job of staying right on it by Green and driving it down the line and left.
Taylor Green, safe at home, safe at secure New York life. So the Brewers with a 1-0 advantage, a big hit for Green. His 5th double of the season, and that'll bring up Ricky Weeks, who had a big game yesterday for Milwaukee. And right up the middle, a base hit on the first pitch. They're going to wave Green around. Here comes the throw from McCutchen, and it's cut off. Green scores, and Ricky Weeks comes through, and the Brewers lead it.
Ricky's getting hot. Yeah, look out. Yesterday he hit a couple of bullets in the game. He hit one. He scorched one to right field. And on the first pitch, McDonald gives him a fastball right down the middle of the plate, and Ricky right back through the middle. Boy, you love to see that from Weeks. Good quick bat. 2-0 for Milwaukee in the first.
Good start for Ricky Weeks in this game. Last night he reached base safely in all 4 plate appearances. He had a double, a couple of walks, even a stolen base, and his 13th RBI on the season for Ricky Weeks. Good start for the Brewers against one of the league's hottest pitchers right now, James McDonald.
Man, that last at bat for Ricky has been something that Johnny Nairn has been trying to get him to do. Attack early. Don't take that first pitch all the time, particularly when there's runners on base. And he jumped all over that first pitch fastball.
So now it's Cody Ransom playing shortstop here this afternoon for Ron Renicky. Ransom at .237 on the season. He has a hit and 2 RBIs in this series. Well, it's one thing since he's been with the squad now for a little over a week. He's got 5 RBIs.
And more importantly, I think, when you look at it, hitting near the bottom of the order, he's done a heck of a job defensively. He made a great play in last night's game. He's been very consistent over at shortstop.
Started the game at short yesterday and wound up at third when Ramirez went out in the 7th inning with that quad injury. Ramirez actually aggravated that, as you mentioned earlier, twice during the game early yesterday, and said he played about 4 innings with it aggravated, and by the 7th inning it was time to come out. So Ransom moved over to third. He's over at shortstop here today, making his 7th start in that spot. Down a ball and 2 strikes to McDonald. Missing low. 2-2 now with the Brewers up 2-0 here in the first inning. Pirates had a chance against Mike Fiers. They had 2 on with 1 out in the first inning, but Maldonado on the caught stealing against Andrew McCutchen, and then the flame was put out quickly after that as Ransom strikes out. Brewers coming alive here in this inning. Take advantage of an error as well, but they get the bats rolling. Play 2, and it's 2-0 Brewers. Field here at Miller Park. He helped give the Brewers a 2-0 advantage. Taylor Green with a big 2-out RBI double, and Ricky Weeks also coming through with a 2-out RBI single, and the Brewers enjoying a lead and giving the young rookie Mike Fiers a little confidence out on the mound, pitching with the lead in this game early as we go to the 2nd inning.
You know, back-to-back starts for Mike Fiers with a 2-0 lead in the first inning. Same thing happened at Los Angeles against the Dodgers.
And it turns out that early lead on that home run by Ryan Braun Tuesday was just enough as he won that game 2-1.
Yeah, that's all the Brewers were able to muster that night.
Hopefully more to come here this afternoon. Matt Hague will lead off the second inning, the first baseman for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Little chopper rolling just foul. He's had a very nice start. He has hit safely in his first 8 big league games since being called up and taking over at first base.
They're just trying to figure out a way to get some power in that lineup. I mean, even pitching in, playing in Pittsburgh, that ballpark, PNC Park, is not a very easy ballpark to hit homers. A big guy over at first base, Clint Hurdle, looking for a little bit of that pop.
1-2 is fouled back. Hague's nice play over at first base has limited Casey McGee to duty off the bench, but he gets a start here today. Strikeout by Hague, and now Casey McGee will make his way. His first start of the series. Former Brewer.
Sixth batter, third baseman, number 14, Casey McGee.
And a nice ovation from an appreciative crowd here at Miller Park. Casey McGee playing the last 3 seasons with the Brewers, and his first 2 about as productive as you could get on and off the field. Very popular here in the community and was at the plate as well. Faces fires for the first time, and their first pitch in for a strike against Casey McGee.
Yeah, 2011 led the Brewers in RBIs with 104. It was a terrific year. Really had his troubles last year, and he continues to have his problems at the plate this year. Sporadic playing time, just like it was a year ago.
186 on the season for McGee. He had 269 in April, but in May just 104. So he's looking for a fresh start here in June. And he hammers this to left field. It is hit hard, and it is off the wall. McGee to second base, and he's in with a sliding double with 1 out here in the second inning.
And he got a fastball right down the middle, and McGee, I think off the bat, I think he thought it was out of the ballpark. Sounded good right off the top of the wall, and in with a 1 out double. Then he missed his spot. It was supposed to be away. Fires left one down the middle, and Casey able to hit it hard into left center. That ball smoked, but it didn't get out. Good play by Aoki to get it in quickly, making it close.
So McGee at second with 1 down. That's his 5th double of the season. 2nd double of the game already given up by Fires. So a runner in scoring position for Rod Barajas, the veteran catcher. 239 on the season, 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. Had a big night on Friday night, couple of hits and an RBI. Pittsburgh won the opener 8-2. That one hit long and far to left field, but hooking foul. That is a long foul ball into that second deck all the way down the line.
He hit one of those the other night on Friday. A bullet that hooked foul into that second deck out there. Barajas, when he gets into one, he can hit them a long ways.
He enjoys hitting at Miller Park in his career .359. See if Fires can get him on the 0-2. Hits it hard to right. Corey Hart to the line. Has room and makes the catch. McGee will tag and go to third now with 2 down.
Hey, Brewer fans, on Wednesday, the first 20,000 fans 21 and older will get a Potawatomi baseball cap courtesy of Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Call 414-902-4000 for tickets.
Two down now for Clint Barmes, Pittsburgh's shortstop here today. Took the collar in yesterday's game. He's having a hard time finding the groove as well. Just 167 on the season. And as you mentioned, after his error in the first inning, things clearly not going his way so far here in 2012.
And this guy's been a pretty good hitter. I mean, at least he's been able to keep his average, fairly high throughout his career. Just as one of those years for him, at least to start out.
There's a strike from Fiers to even the count.
Man, you got first base open, the pitcher on deck, so be careful.
Fiers misses 2-1. When Fiers won on Tuesday night, he became the first Brewer starter to win his first major league start since Giovanni Gallardo back in 2007. And the first Brewer to win his first major league start on the road since Nick Neugebauer back in 2001. This one lifted to right. Corey Hart coming in, can't get there. Barmes gets a single and Casey McGee scores, and Pittsburgh on the board, and it's a 2-1 game.
And not a bad pitch by Fiers, a breaking ball off the plate, and Barmes right off the end of the bat able to drive in Casey McGee.
The pitcher, number 53.
And not much you can do about that. I mean, that was a good pitch, a slider off the plate. It was down, and Barmes just stuck the bat out there and got the RBI.
Two to one now, Brewers. And the pitcher, James McDonald, at the plate. First pitch, a strike from Fiers. McDonald, pretty good athlete. When he was drafted by the Dodgers, they actually made a decision to save his arm and moved him to the outfield early in his minor league career for the first couple of seasons, but he had a hard time hitting to stay alive in that position. Down 2 strikes to Fiers. So his third year in the minors, he had to basically start over at rookie ball and learn how to pitch again.
Well, he's done a good job this year, that's for sure. Third in the National League in earned run average.
Terry Collins was the Dodgers minor league instructor and actually encouraged the organization to get him back to pitching. Of course, now he's the Mets manager. At the end of the 2005 season. Fiers misses on the 0-2 pitch.
And sometimes those years that you take off from pitching and being on that mound, they do you a lot of good. I mean, it keeps your arm a little bit fresh, and obviously he had some growing pains getting back onto the mound at the big league level. He hasn't been around that long, but boy, he's been able to put it together this year.
1-2, and he strikes him out to end the inning. The Pirates get one, and it is now a 2-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the second. And it's a 2-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the second inning, and this guy's really emerged into the ace of this Pittsburgh staff. His last 5 starts, his ERA at just over 1.5.
As we mentioned, he has not allowed all year in 10 starts more than 3 earned runs in a game. You talked about that consecutive scoreless streak. He had a 3-1 record in the month of May with a 154 earned run average. So this young man really starting to throw the baseball well.
And he faces Brooks Conrad to open up the second inning. The Brewers were able to get 2 in the first. And Conrad has a big monkey lifted off his bat yesterday with his first hit, which was a home run. And this one hit high and long to right field as well. Jones going back on the warning track in front of the wall. A long first out. Brewers first inning, they were able to get to McDonald for 2 runs. And it began with the error on Barmiston. Morgan, a stolen base. And with 2 down, Taylor Green coming through with the double. And Wheats on the first pitch with 2 down as well, plates Green. And the Brewers get 2 against McDonald. And in 2 career starts against the Brewers, he is 0-2 with an ERA of 9.58. So we'll see if the Brewers can keep that going here this afternoon.
And again, that so much of that consecutive scoreless streak against McDonald. Of course, both of the runs were unearned. So he has an unearned scoreless streak, but those don't count.
A run's a run.
A run's a run is a run.
Especially when it's for the other team, right? Here's Martin Maldonado now, the Brewer catcher. .133 on the young season, his first week in the bigs for Maldonado. Pops one that Barmes takes into short left. Sundays on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall. The personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. This week, it's Ralph Kiner. Boys in the Hall after the game, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Got a lot of kids and families here on this Sunday afternoon. Brewers trying to win this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates after winning yesterday's game 5-1 to even things up. Now the pitcher Michael fires. The whole month of May, the Brewers won only 1 home series in 4 tries. Fires deep in the hole. Barmes, big arm, and they get Fires at first. Good play. A 1-2-3 second inning. It's still 2-1 Milwaukee. Four strikeouts already, a career high in the major league level for him. And we welcome in Tom Flanagan now, who is the director of baseball operations for the Milwaukee Brewers, getting set for the big draft coming up starting tomorrow night, and they're all big. There's a lot of planning involved. And how are things going? How are you things all set up for tomorrow for you guys? Feeling good?
I think we're feeling good. Bruce is upstairs as we speak in our war room, and cross-checkers are there just putting the finishing touches on our boards and preparing for tomorrow night at 6 o'clock when it kicks off.
Well, the Brewers have the 27th and 28th pick in the first round. The 27th, the compensation pick from Detroit for Prince Fielder, signing with them. Their 28th pick is their own for winning 96 games a year ago. You pick a little lower in the draft when you have that kind of success, which is good. And then you've got the 38th pick, another compensation pick as well. So you're set up still pretty good for the first 38 picks. You've got 3 of them.
Absolutely. I think Bruce is excited. We're all excited for him, and we'll see who's there. Obviously, it's hard to forecast who may be there, but picking where we do, 27, 28, 38, should lead to some good players being available.
Now, Tom, not many people realize you've been in the Brewers organization for 23 years. You started in the clubhouse, worked your way up. Talk about all the different things that you've done with this organization.
I've done quite a bit. Never thought I'd end up taking the route I did, but it's very enjoyable and learned a lot of bits and pieces at all the different stages. Obviously started out, as you mentioned, in the clubhouse. I was a bat boy during high school years and into college, and then kind of moved up the ladder, worked in our IT department, which is my major in college, and then that led me into the scouting department, where I was assistant scouting director for about 6 drafts, and then toward my present position today. So interesting
track. You have some IT experience. I'm having trouble with my computer, but after we get off here, maybe. Just kidding. How do the Brewers prepare for this draft? I mean, when does this all start? I mean, does it start right after this year's draft? Do you guys get going? And second question, how many scouts are out there in the field for the Brewers?
Well, there's a total of about 25, counting Bruce and his cross-checkers. There's 20 area supervisors or area scouts. And like you mentioned, literally the process starts the day after this draft ends. Guys are already doing work for next season.
Jose Tabata strikes out to open up the 3rd inning. That's 5 now for Mike Fiers. And talk a little bit about your young pitcher out there, 22nd round pick. And he was able to make his way up here. Of course, kind of pressed into duty, but give us your thoughts on what you've seen during his transition, I guess, from the minors and now up here to his second big league start.
Mike Fiers, he's a guy that our area scout Charlie Sullivan and our scouting director Bruce Side pretty much were on from the get-go. It sounds strange to say that about a 22nd rounder, but he was a senior out of a college in Florida, actually led the country in strikeouts as a senior, and all through the minor leagues just had a knack for, despite maybe not having overpowering stuff, whether it be his deception, his delivery, or what have you, just has a knack for getting swings and misses, and he's a guy that's for where he was drafted especially has moved fairly quick and has shown very well so far here in the big league. So hopefully we keep it going.
And that's the unknown, isn't it? You can go after high school guys, you can go after college guys, but you don't know what the development is going to be until they actually start pitching in the minors and start pitching for real and kind of develop into their own person, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The path is different. You see it every year. People quote unquote want the quick fix, or they take the college guy that may be quicker, which isn't necessarily always the case. Sometimes there's high school players in past drafts, even high guys at the top, that a college pitcher just doesn't pan out, whereas the high school player gets on that quick track. So there's positives and minuses to each, depending on what your scout knows about him. That's really at the core of this in the draft, is how well our area scouts know these players individually.
It seems like year to year it's one of those things where there's a lot of very good, talented players in the college ranks and some good players from year to year in the high school ranks. How does this year's draft look like it's going to shake out? More college guys or more of the high school players?
It's a pretty good mix. Some people have been critical of it, saying it's a weak draft. I'm not sure that we're one of those clubs that buy into that. I think every draft has big league players in it, and it's just all what you make of your picks. So I would say this draft, looking at it today, especially where we're picking, I think there'll be some options both high school and college where we're picking, and it's just hard to predict who might be there. But I think it'll be a quality player at both 27 and 28 looking us in the eye when we get there.
Now, when you look at the draft this year, as far as the Brewers, what they look like they perhaps may need down the road, I mean, do you go pitcher? Do you go position player? I mean, would you specifically go after an outfield if you think you need that, or is it just basically the best all-around athlete in your mind?
I think if it gets where two players, quote unquote, their magnets are right there on the board, I think you could lean one way or the other, but it really could get you into trouble if you look that way going in. I think you really have to stick with the best player available, whether it be a pitcher, first base, third base, whatever it may be. I remember in the past when we selected Prince Fielder, we had at the time Richie Sexson was, an all-star for us. Brad Nelson had been our minor league player of the year the season before, and kind of got some second guessing from the pundits about why would you take a first baseman. It turns out, looks pretty good 5 years down the road when we're able to turn Richie Sexson into a whole batch of players in the Arizona Diamondbacks trade. So it's probably going to be that way again. I think best player available.
McCutchen hits it high in the infield. Conrad calling for it. Weeks calls him off and makes a catch a little dangerous out there.
Routine, right? That's routine.
Yeah. From dangerous to routine.
A little easier play for a second baseman going over on an angle than for a first baseman going right back. But that was an adventure. It's one of those things with the roof, but it's partially closed. It's supposed to make it a little bit easier to see, but sometimes even in that situation, you can't take your eye off it. And Ricky able to make a reaching catch out there. But Tommy, the war room. I mean, we hear a lot about the war room. I'd love to go up there someday. But are there any good specific stories you can tell about that war room? Some insider stuff,
sure.
Not too inside.
Sure, absolutely. We'll hold the names where we have to. But there's been a couple. There's been a couple of situations over the years where our scouting director has literally a draft card in his hands ready to make the selection, and the team prior to us, kind of we call it picking our pocket, just takes our player that we're set on. So a couple names over the years. Bobby Jenks, the Angels took him to pick after us in the 5th round. I think it was back in 2000 was one, and one time I believe Wade Davis was another one a few years after that. So just it's always the better players that you remember those stories on more, unfortunately. But there definitely are some anxious moments, and with the way things move pretty quick in there, you really need to be on top of things and hopefully avoid having that happen too much where a team can pick your pocket.
Scouts get fired up from time to time wanting their guy to get picked. I mean, a little bit of I guess good-natured arguing going on up there.
Absolutely. I think it's more good nature. They understand at the end of the day we're all in better shape if we get it right and get the best player regardless of whose area he may be from. But there definitely is some of that ribbing going on east over west or central or different regions.
So the scouts aren't on commission. It doesn't work that way, right?
Unfortunately for them, they're not, and for us.
Then there might be a few feathers flying in there, right?
Absolutely.
Well, last year the Brewers took 2 pitchers early in the 1st round, Taylor Youngman and Jet Bradley, and they are both right now at Brevard County. Bradley battling a groin injury right now. He's been on and off the DL, but both those young pitchers now with 4-4 records are they making the progress for the most part that you would like at this point?
I think so. I think that's a good spot for them to be at right now, but they are making strides there. They both know what they need to work on, and our pitching coordinator Lee Tunnell has been in there quite a bit working with both of them, and we're excited to monitor their progress, but that's definitely 2 guys to get excited about.
Tom Flanagan, the Director of Baseball Operations for the Brewers, joining us. Good luck in the draft tomorrow. It starts at 6 o'clock Central Time. You can watch it on the Major League Baseball Network as well. Tom Crashing in certain portions of Miller Park here this afternoon. 2-1 Brewers as we go to the bottom of the third inning. It was good to hear from Tom Flanagan, the director of baseball operations. Nori Aoki, a long foul ball down the right field line, didn't miss by much. Got a hold of that first pitch from James McDonald, who, by the way, only needed 7 pitches in that second inning to retire the Brewers 1-2-3.
And once again, Mike Fiers really putting together a good inning, getting through the top of that Pirate order with only 1 base runner. And that's a big time of year. This is a big time of year for people in the folks in baseball operations. A lot of people involved in that whole process. They're grinding it out as we speak. And Tom Flanagan, you can't say enough about what he's been able to do. I mean, he started, as he mentioned, as a bat boy back in 1990. Has worked his way through the ranks. I mean, you got to tip your hat to a young man like that. Not young anymore, I guess, 39 years old.
Still young to you and I.
Right, but he's been in the organization a long, long time.
Yeah, it does speak volumes for dedication on both parts. To have him be dedicated to know what he wanted to do, and vice versa with the organization.
Brewers giving him an opportunity to climb the ladder like that. That's tremendous.
Brewers have put together some terrific drafts. Of course, nothing ever guaranteed in any sport, but with the amount of players that are drafted in Major League Baseball and the amount of years it takes for development. Ron Renicky was talking about that before the game. Actually, tomorrow on the day off, he's hoping to stop by and see what they do in that first round tomorrow. Just the first round tomorrow. Again, that draft starts at 6 Central Time as Aoki strikes out. Barajas held on to that foul tip. So 1 down here. Don't forget this July coming up next month, the biggest event of the summer is baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 Major League Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday, July 10th at 6:30 Central on Fox. Hosted by Kansas City this year, and the Brewers are going to pay a visit to Kansas City during interleague play later this month.
Next road trip, Kansas City, Minneapolis, playing the Twins.
Niger Morgan to left. Easy out there for Tabata, and 2 down quickly for James McDonald, who seems to be dialing in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, 6 in a row now for McDonald. This is a guy that has been able to pound the strike zone with good quality stuff. 19 walks, 63 strikeouts before today's game. He's got 2 today in about 68 innings of work. He's been very consistent. Pitching has really been the story for the Pirates all year.
Came into this series with the 3rd best team ERA in baseball as Corey Hart steps in. Two down for the Brewer right fielder, batting 3rd here this afternoon.
The Pirates with a team earned run average at 3.25. The Brewers all of a sudden climbing the ladder. They're at 4.31. Doing a much better job in the pitching department lately, the last couple of weeks.
Brewers have been getting good starting pitching and good defense behind that pitching as well. And timely hitting. You know, you get guys like Giovanni Gallardo.
It's been a good run through the rotation now in the second turn through the rotation.
Hart hits it to right, straight away at Jones, and that's 3 quick outs again for James McDonald. 2-1 Milwaukee.
Brought to you by GMC. Brewers off and running early in the first inning, a 2-0 lead against James McDonald. A Taylor Green RBI double, followed by a Ricky Weeks base hit to center to score Green. 2-0. Mike Fiers on the mound continues to throw the baseball well, throwing good strikes until Clint Farmer is able to dump one in the right on a pretty good slider.
Mike Fiers back out to open up the 4th inning against Pittsburgh. And Haig to straightaway center field on the first pitch for the first out. Andrew Morgan hauls it in, and just that quickly, one down.
Hey, after most Sunday Brewer home games, kids 16 and under can run the bases here at Miller Park. That's compliments of great clips. It's going to be great. That's today, Sunday. You know what that means? Our instructional's out in right field.
I always get a kick out of hosting the post-game show, and our spots out in right field, if you ever want to come and say hello to us. Davey and Jerry and I are out there. But the line for that run around the bases almost wraps halfway around the stadium.
Right. It's a popular thing.
Very popular.
Why wouldn't it be, right? Get out on the field.
Awesome stuff. Casey McGee now with one down. Casey had a booming double his first time up off the wall in left field. A nice ovation when he has been introduced. Did not play in yesterday's game. Pinch hit on Friday. And then gets his first start of the series over at third base here this afternoon. Casey trying to resurrect his career at the plate here with the Pirates. Had a good start in April, but tailed off in May, so he's hitting under 200 right now. It's also hard to get your average up when you've been relegated to the bench.
Yeah, you're not getting a whole lot of playing time. Every time you get in there, you put pressure on yourself, and it is very difficult. And when you're not an everyday player, to try and be consistent at the plate.
Pirates with 5 hits off Fiers. There's a strike on McGee, who thought it was ball 4, so he'll have to come back.
Good pitch on the outside corner. A late call by Phil Cuzzy. Looks like pretty close. Looks like it had the plate. Was it high enough? Just barely. It was high enough.
Fiers with 5 strikeouts in the game already. Steps off the mound. Here's the 3-2 to McGee. Little chopper, foul ball, not by much. So he'll come back and do it again. When Tom Flanagan was up here, the director of baseball operations, he was talking about a little bit about drafting Mike Fiers out of the 22nd round back in 2009 from Nova Southeastern University. That's located in Fort Lauderdale. Of course, the state of Florida, pretty rich for baseball. Not a nationally known college, but that was his 3rd college stop. Went to 2 community colleges. And didn't pitch at all the year before he was drafted because of a severe car accident. He's bounced back nicely, but here he walks Casey McGee with 1 out. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia here this afternoon. Who was the last Brewer pitcher to win his first 2 major league starts? Fiers trying to do it here this afternoon. How far back in the books you think you got to go for that?
I think a while. Trying to think. Although it is Sunday, you don't supposed to think on Sunday, are you? It's a day of rest.
Just another work day for you, Rock.
It's supposed to be kind of a layup question on Sunday. What do you think?
I don't know.
Something easy. That's a good one, though.
Not with Brian Mikologic around.
And it has a lot to do with today's game, right? I mean, Mike Fiers has a chance to do that.
That's right. It ties into our starting pitcher. Both starting pitchers today, McDonald and Fiers, both 27, but Fiers making his second big league start and McDonald his 58th. McDonald drafted 4 years ahead of Fiers.
And nice pitch. I mean, he continues to throw good quality strikes with his fastball. It really doesn't have that much on it. I mean, you're talking about 87 to 90 miles an hour. Same thing against the Dodgers, and got a lot of swings and misses.
See a lot of strikes thrown by Fiers. That walk to McGee, by the way, is first that he's given up in 2 big league starts. 7 strong innings against the Dodgers last Tuesday. Did not walk a batter. High and tight to Barajas. Casey McGee over at first with 1 down for the Pirates here in the 4th inning. And Barajas strikes out.
And a good slider that time off the outside corner. The same pitch that he threw to Clint Barmas. But Barmas able to dump it into right. Barmas tried, or I should say Barajas tried to pull that one. You could see his front shoulder pulling off, and therein lies the difference in the outcome.
Two down now for Clint Barmas. McGee still over at first base. Fiers drops one in for a strike. Barmas knocked in the Pirates' only run of the game so far back in the 2nd inning. All 3 runs in this game scored with 2 out. Fiers ahead now, 2 strikes. Fiers takes a look at McGee over at first. Here's the 0-2 to Barmas. And he fouls another one off. Fiers at Nashville this year in 10 starts, only 1-3 with a 4.42. You wouldn't think so if you've watched his first 2 starts here in the majors this week.
Man, I did not call that a strike. And we talked to Mike the day after his start. He said that, you know, he won 13 games last year in the minor leagues. He said he started out the same way. Started out a bit slow, then really came on. So this is about the time last year he started to throw well. Difference is he's doing it in the big leagues.
Exactly right. The Brewers will take it right now. They need him. This one hit hard to left field, just foul by inches.
Give these guys extra swings, and it makes their job a lot easier. That 2-strike slider looked to be a strike. Bill Cuzzy didn't like it, and Barmas nearly hit one down the line. That might have scored a run.
Barmas had a bloop single back in the 2nd inning to plate that run. Got his average up to 172. Hits it to left. Aoki takes a couple of steps in that sunlight. And Fiers gets through the 4th inning.
for Time for Crew in the community. Every month, an athlete in the RBI program, that stands for Reviving Baseball in the Inner Cities, will be recognized by the Brewers for dedication to academics, community involvement, leadership, reliability, and performance. RBI coaches can nominate their Athlete of the Month online, filling out the form at brewers.com. A very nice program, guys.
Absolutely, Mark. Very good program in the community as the Brewers stay involved. And Taylor Green set the lead off the 4th inning against James McDonald. Milwaukee clinging to a 2-1 lead. And McDonald over the last 2 innings has retired the Brewers 1-2-3 in the 2nd and the 3rd. But it was Green back in the 1st with 2 down. He came through with that big RBI double. That brought home Niger Morgan and gave the Brewers their first run of the game. He would later score, and Ricky Weeks singled to bring him home. Brewers trying to get James McDonald back out of that groove he's settled into. High fly ball center field, hit pretty well. And caught out there by McCutchen just in front of the wall. And Ricky Weeks making his way up, and he has put together a pretty nice weekend. Ricky Weeks last night stealing bases for the Brewers. That is always good to see. That means he's on board. And when Ricky Weeks is on board running the bases, he's scoring some runs for the Brewers. And the old adage for Ricky Weeks, when the Brewers can get him on base and he can score runs, that usually means wins. And on the first pitch that he saw from McDonald this afternoon, delivered an RBI single. Couple of hits last night for Weeks. Couple of walks as well last night.
That's the thing. I mean, he has been able to walk quite a bit. I mean, given his batting average is certainly nowhere near where he wants it to be. But when you consider all the times that he's been able to draw the walks, he's been on base quite a bit. He just got a little bit more consistent, you know, in driving the baseball. And Johnny Naron has been trying to urge him to attack early. First pitch fastballs down the middle, no reason to take them all. And very good in the 1st inning, first pitch fastball, able to line it into center field.
And I think you brought up a good point during Ricky's first at bat, that if you can get him going, and you would expect that this is only going to turn to the positive for Ricky Weeks, how much more that means for this Brewer team.
And no doubt.
I mean, to get almost little production from him here in the first 2 months, and now it's could be cranking up.
When you have a little bit unsettled in the leadoff spot, I mean, Corey Hart's been up there, Aoki's been up there, Morgan's been up there. I mean, not many teams that are going to be consistent in scoring runs are going to have such a different look at the top of their order every single day.
2-2 to Weeks, and he strikes out.
Bottom line is, you get Ricky hot, you can lead him off, and then everybody else falls into place.
Well, here is Cody Ransom, of course, newly acquired from Milwaukee on the road trip last week. And he's done a wonderful job defensively for the Brewers and coming through with some key hits as well. 5 RBIs in a short time duty. And he's playing that left side of that infield off the well.
He's a veteran guy. He's 36 years old, and he's not going to hurt you defensively. He's going to give you some hits. Not a whole lot of power, but he's doing exactly what Ron Renneke would expect him to do, and that's give you, good consistent defense. You can throw him out there about 6 days a week.
And he is the Brewers' 3rd shortstop already on the season. You talk about all the guys that have taken over for Matt Gamble at first base. It has been a chore to make out those lineups for Ron Renneke. And it's just not making out the lineups. You need the production on both ends.
It's been a challenge trying to find 9 guys you can throw out there that are healthy. We talked about the bench for Milwaukee. Only Masonette on the bench is the only guy that doesn't have a leg problem. Kind of ties your hands late in the game if you're Renneke. Gomez can hit. He can play the field, but he's not 100%. Brawny, he can hit, but I don't think they want to use him. Kataris having a tough time with that hamstring. And Ramirez now with a quad.
Ransom hits it well, but McCutchen there in center field, and another 1-2-3 inning for James McDonald. It's presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine.
And today's time of the game winner is Hannon's in Waukesha. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite.
All right, we move now to the 5th inning, and the pitcher, James McDonald, will lead off for the Pirates, who trail Mike Fiers and the Brewers 2-1. Brewers 2 runs on 2 hits in this game. The Pirates a run on 5 hits. They've also committed an error, and that error proved costly against McDonald. The 2 runs the Brewers have scored were unearned. That was back in the 1st inning. Fiers has done a nice job on the mound. He's got 6 strikeouts so far in this game. Those are major league career highs for him. This, of course, only his 2nd big league start. Fiers, as I mentioned, played on 2 community college teams and finished at Nova Southeastern in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's also played in the New York Collegiate Baseball Summer League. He did that back in 2007. So he's one of the guys that have gone through that circuit and made it to the bigs that can appreciate the Northwoods League, I should say, that has 7 Wisconsin teams in it, including a new one here in Milwaukee as well.
And the Chinooks.
Sounded like a broken bat single into center field for the Pittsburgh pitcher to get things going here in the 5th inning. Time now for our carsoup.com email the booth question. This comes from Eric in Appleton. Does Carlos Beltran's apparent fair ball in Friday's no-hitter do anything for the case of expanded replay in baseball? Johan Santana ended up throwing a no-hitter for the Mets on Friday night in that game, but plenty of controversy on Carlos Beltran's foul ball. Was it fair or foul? Was ruled, of course, foul.
What do you think, partner?
Tabata flies out to Corey Hart. Nice catch running in just into foul territory for the first out.
You want replay? You want it expanded?
I'm not a big fan of replay.
I'm not either. I'm with you. Now, You know, Brian, BA, he loves replay. He wants to see replay expanded.
I'm just not sure where it would take the length of the game. I guess that's first and foremost one of my concerns. I get it that we're all video coordinated in all professional sports now.
Yeah, you start out with boundary calls on home runs and things, then you go to fair and foul. What's next? I mean, do you replay balls and strikes? I mean, where does it all stop? It's not often that mistakes are made on, you know, fair balls, foul balls, those things that happen. But yeah, every now and again it's going to happen. And was it that cut and dried, that ball that was hit by Beltran? Would that have been overturned, you think? It may have been.
Here's the question, though. Where would you put him in that case? Where do you put Carlos Beltran? Do you just put him at first? Do you put him at second?
Exactly. I mean, what do you do? What do you do with that regard, right? I don't know. That's the problem with replay and overturning decisions that were going to be outs but turns into extra base hits. And what happens if there's men on base? Where do they go?
I mean, you don't want to get to a point where you say we're not going to make a call until the ball's dead.
Right. Everything's fair until we stop, and then we'll look at it again. That's just going to be nauseating. I don't like replay. I don't like any part of it.
Are you out on the home run fair or foul or to the line?
That's okay. As long as it stops there, that's all I say. I mean, now, you know, they're talking about maybe expanding it a little bit in the postseason, doing that. You know, if they want to do that, fine.
Always going to be a lot of talk. That's why you got to get around the water cooler and talk about it every now and again.
That's why baseball is the greatest game. A lot of things to talk about, argue about, difference of opinion. Everybody has a good point. Nobody's wrong or right. And that's a good pitch by Mike Fiers to Neil Walker. Look at that changeup, huh? Going down and away. Nice.
7 strikeouts.
He's got all 4 of his pitches working nicely again today. He's thrown a lot more breaking balls and all speed pitches in this game than he did against the Dodgers. I think maybe the ballpark has something to do with it. I do. You can make mistakes with fastballs at Dodger Stadium at night. Ball doesn't carry very well. Not here.
But now he's here and he's obviously pitching very confidently.
Mixing it up, keeping the baseball down. And that familiar target and that familiar face behind home plate, you know, is a contributing factor in his success. These guys have been together a while.
Martin Maldonado behind the plate doing the catching. Of course, these two teammates at AAA together to begin the year. Both made their first major league starts together last Tuesday.
Fastball in the corner, then a slider off the plate, and he's ahead in the count 0-2. He's been ahead of just about every hitter, it seems like, tonight or today.
Ball and 2 strikes to a very dangerous Andrew McCutchen. Not offering there, 2-2. There's Maldonado and Fiers. Battery mates. McCutchen stays alive. Rock, being a former catcher for so long in the big leagues, you can't speak enough on the relationship, how important it is between the catcher and the pitcher. I mean, we've seen this with Randy Wolf and George Gutierrez over the last 2 years.
When you have a relationship like that and you've been working together as long as Maldonado and Fiers have, I mean, you kind of know behind home plate what he wants to throw, maybe sometimes before he does. Or if you're Mike Fiers out there and you're thinking one thing and Maldonado very adamant about another pitch, and there we go talking again. And maybe he's thinking maybe he's right here. I'm going to go with the guy that's been calling a game for me for a couple of years. 13 wins a year ago in the minor leagues. A number of the wins with Maldonado behind home plate. He's down in AAA with him this year, and here they are in the big leagues.
Ron Renicky was talking before the game about even when he's been catching the Brewer veteran pitchers, they're good with the relationship that they have and the pitches that are being called and being able to shake a sign off or two. There's a good respect value there with Maldonado. Now it's 3-2 against McCutchen. He had him a ball and 2 strikes, and McCutchen putting together a good at bat. 90 pitches already here for Fiers. His first start Tuesday, 89 through 7 innings. James McDonald, the Pittsburgh pitcher, got things going with a leadoff single, and so he's been over at first base for quite a while. McDonald said, did he really throw that over here?
Just keeping him honest. 3-2, 2 outs. He's going to be running, but McDonald not going to be too aggressive on the bases.
He's running on the 3-2 pitch, and McCutchen hits it hard left field. Aoki going back, and it is gone. McCutchen with a huge slam against Mike Fiers, and that gives Pittsburgh a 3-2 lead.
He went with a 3-2 slider, and McCutchen able to wait back and knock it out of here on pitch number 9. He saw everything that Fiers had to offer him. There's the slider. It had good late movement on it, but McCutchen waiting back and barreling in that one up and knocking it out of here into the Brewers' pen. There's that guy again. Got to be careful of him. 2 hits with a home run and 2 ribbies.
9th home run of the season for Andrew McCutchen. And that gives Pittsburgh the lead here in this game now in the 5th inning. Long at bat, Rock mentioned it, 9 pitches. And now Jones hits one to center field. Morgan going back, and he watches it leave the park. Back-to-back home runs by the Pirates, and suddenly they have a 4-2 lead over Milwaukee.
Yeah, these Pirates are saying, boy, I like it here at Miller Park. Both of those hits for the Pirates would have been outs at PNC, but not at Miller Park. Boy, off the bat, it didn't look like Morgan was going to be able to camp under that one and make it out. I had an 8 listed in my book already, but that ball just kept carrying. Everything opened up here at Miller Park today, and back-to-back home runs. On balls that would have been outs at home for the Pirates. Both of them.
That draws a visit from Rick Kranitz. You see the pitch count on Fiers at 94 right now. And it was interesting last week that Rick Kranitz saying he's never actually seen Fiers pitch because he never saw him at spring training because of these split squad games. They were not together at that point. And of course at AAA he hasn't seen him pitch. So now trying to get him through a rough spot here. He's given up back-to-back home runs.
And so what you do as a pitching coach in that regard, you sit back, you watch him for a while before you start making any recommendations, and you allow Maldonado to get him through the game. And you see Jones out on his front foot, strong man, able to knock it out of here.
Matt Haig now. Three runs in the 5th inning. The 0-2. And again, he stays alive. Fiers also close to getting through the inning unscathed, but McCutchen comes through it. They clutch 2-out home run, and Jones follows next batter with a solo shot. Now he's got to get through the 5th and hold the Pirates in check. Heard Mark Concannon speak with Mike Fiers on Brewers Live pregame before the game. Very soft-spoken, very humble pitcher out on the hill for Milwaukee. Pitch number 100 on the afternoon right there for Fiers, misses.
We'll see what Ron Renneke elects to do, because his spot is due up 3rd in the bottom of this inning. A 28-pitch inning here in the 5th.
And he strikes him out. That's the final out of the 5th. But Pittsburgh, a couple of home runs. The big blow by McCutchen. And it's 4-2 Pittsburgh. Back at Miller Park, Bill Schroeder, Craig Cashun, Mark Concannon with you here in a 4-2 game as we move now to the Brewer half of the 5th inning, and Brooks Conrad set to lead things off for the Brewers. Pittsburgh got to Mike Fiers for 3 in the top half of the 5th. So that 2-1 lead is gone, and McDonald helped his own cause by getting a single to get things going. Powerball home run count for Brooks Conrad finally reaches 1 yesterday. Last night he hit that home run. It was his first hit as a Brewer as well. And he and Niger Morgan, courtesy of home runs in this series, have gotten some monkeys off their back, so to say, because Morgan, of course, finally got his first RBI of the season on Friday night with a home run. So be good to see the Brewer bats start picking up the pace.
Yeah, you got a couple of big home run bats on the bench today, Ramirez and Braun. Brewers currently 5th in the National League in team homers, behind St. Louis and Colorado.
Funny thing is about Conrad, he had such a tough time getting a base hit. 0 for 20, I believe, when he was sent back to AAA, and then hit home run after home run after home run for Nashville. and then was summoned back to the big league squad as he hits it hard into the gap. McCutchen on the run, and he makes the catch.
Yeah, he's something else, that guy. He can run him down out there in center field. He's a good young player these Pirates have. Good speed. He gets a good angle on this baseball. It hangs up a little bit for Conrad. And a nice running catch right in front of the wall.
Hard to believe there's many faster than McCutchen. Of course, when Carlos Gomez is healthy, he's one of the fastest center fielders as well.
No, I'll take Gomez any day. There's only been one ground ball out, off the bat for the Brewers here so far today. That was Mike Fiers. He grounded out the shortstop in the second inning. Everything else has been strikeouts and fly balls.
Brewers with just 2 hits in this game. Fiers has the bat. He is on deck, but Cameron Lowe is warming up in the Brewer bullpen. And it's going to be Fiers coming up after Maldonado strikes out.
Yeah, 2 outs, nobody on. Plus the fact that Ron Randy doesn't have many options on the bench.
Here's our AT&T trivia question and answer. Who is the last Brewer pitcher to win his first 2 major league starts? I have to take you back to 1983. Tom Candiotti, the Candyman, won his first 4.
Yeah. Knuckleballer. He wasn't throwing a knuckleball back in his days with the Brewers. He toyed around with that knuckleball. I caught Tom Candiotti in the minor leagues. He toyed around with it in the minor leagues, but when he got to the major leagues, Brewers didn't want him to throw it. He went over to Cleveland, and that's just about all he threw. Turned out he had a pretty good career. Currently a radio voice with the Diamondbacks.
Just saw him on the last road trip.
Yeah.
That season back in '83, Candiotti finished 4-4 on the year. And Fiers offered, strikes out, and another quick inning for James McDonald.
Pretty nice coming back and seeing a lot of the faces that were pretty familiar for a few years, and now coming back and it made me feel good. A lot of people stopped by and said hello, and just seeing some old faces that kind of made you feel comfortable. It's a little weird, It's like it's kind of in a way like it's like seeing a girlfriend you broke up with that you don't necessarily hate. You know what I mean?
Only Casey McGee can say it like that and have everyone laugh, right?
Yeah.
Let's flash back. Casey McGee, 3 seasons with the Milwaukee Brewers. His first 2 very productive. 301 in 2009, 285 in 2010, and 27 big league home runs in this ballpark for Casey McGee. And one of the more popular Brewers during that time.
That's certainly the most popular child of all time in Brewer history. I mean, Casey's son Mac, suffers from cerebral palsy, kind of the mascot of the team. Everybody loves to see Mac. He's actually here in Milwaukee with his wife. Not Mac's wife, I guess, with Casey's wife.
Yeah, little Mac is definitely one of the favorites, and whole family came back to Milwaukee with Casey to visit with family and friends during this weekend stay. Casey very proud of what they were able to accomplish with the community work as well, and vice versa. There's no doubt about that. Casey with a good game so far here, wearing the Pirate uniform. He has a double and a walk, been on base twice. Scored the game's first run. Casey rips one down the left field line, and that's foul. Of course, Cameron Lowe out on the hill now for Milwaukee, making his 23rd appearance.
Yeah, he's throwing the baseball well. He tossed a perfect 8th inning in last night's ball game. And the interesting note on Cameron Lowe, has not allowed a run on the road this year, and a 2.63 ERA overall.
Of course, Casey McGee is wearing the Brewer uniform, well known for his clutch hits.
And you saw the video highlights of Casey McGee, some of the base hits that he had. You think of Casey McGee, you think of right center field power. That's what you think about. Staying on the baseball and driving it to the opposite field.
And a cold strike 3 on Casey McGee, but talk about Little Mac. Take you back. July 29th of 2009, and Little Mac throwing out the first pitch in this game. His dad doesn't start, but will be a hero at the end with a pinch hit home run. And the Brewers win that night, and a lot of emotion for the McGee family.
Yeah, good night for the McGees, as you mentioned. Good guy, Casey McGee, and his family. Well liked around the community.
Barajas' first pitch off Cameron Lowe, hit to left and out. 3rd home run of the afternoon for the Pirates. Another solo shot, and they add to their total now and grab a 5-2 lead.
And the Pirates knocking out home runs. I mean, they don't hit many. 3 of them in 2 innings. And Barajas, as we talked about, not much as far as batting average goes, but a pitch down and in. He's had a couple of near misses in this series. He's hooked a couple way foul, way out of here, but this one able to center on it, get it out of here in the gap into the Brewers bullpen.
Barajas now with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs in 13 games at Miller Park. So that brings up the shortstop Clint Barmas to work against Cameron Lowe. If you wondered why you didn't see Mike Fiers coming back out after he hit for himself back in the 5th, it just shows the dilemma halfway through the game with the Brewer bench being as banged up as they are right now for Ron Renicky.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Not enough healthy bodies to go up there and grab a bat. Certainly want to save Braun if you're going to use them for later in the game with a couple of men on.
And apparently Barmas offered for strike 3.
And didn't bother running to first.
Cameron Lowe will take it, 2 down.
Yeah, good breaking ball, not even close. And Barmas might have thought that he held up, but according to Phil Cuzzy, he went. Nice block by Martin Maldonado, and he tags him on Barmas' way back to the dugout.
Boy, Maldonado not assuming anything.
Once you start walking to the dugout, you're out. You don't have to go chase the guy down, that's for sure.
That brings up the pitcher McDonald, who got that inning going for Pittsburgh. Back in the third, showing some pretty good speed down the line, but Green fires for the third out. Pittsburgh gets one more and leads it 5-2. Reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top can. It's Miller time.
And the Brewers homestand features another visit from Dale Swayman. The Chicago Cubs. Tickets are going fast. Call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com to order.
All right, we move to the Brewer half of the sixth inning. Nice crowd here on this Sunday afternoon at Miller Park. But the Brewers got a rally to turn those frowns into smiles, if you will. They trail 5-2, and a lot has to do with this guy, James McDonald, who's been very efficient over the last 4 innings. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Milwaukee Brewers. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club, LP. Ron Renicky trying to figure out a way to get to McDonald. His team only with 2 hits in this game, and a 2-1 lead is now turned into a 5-2 deficit. McDonald over the last 4 innings, get this, 7 pitches, 13, 14, and 13 again.
Yeah, Brewers haven't had a base runner since that Ricky Weeks base hit in the first inning. Yeah, throwing strikes with all of his pitches, that fastball, the big overhand curveball, and the slider.
Well, let's see what the top of the order and Nori Aoki can do against McDonald. Just 72 pitches by McDonald. He gave up 2 unearned runs in the opening inning, and that's been it. McDonald's quite an athlete. You saw him get down that first base line on his last at bat pretty quickly. His dad played in the NFL. He was a receiver for the LA Rams, and his cousin Darnell plays with the Boston Red Sox as Aoki strikes out.
As you mentioned, he's a big man. He's 6'4", but 205 pounds. He's long and lanky. Shows a lot of poise out there in the mound. You know, just like Mike Fiers was getting ahead of just about every hitter. McDonald's done the same thing, although he fell behind Aoki 2-0, but ended up striking him out on the next 3 pitches.
Nyjer Morgan, who reached on an error back in the first inning and stole a base, scored the Brewers' first run. Now steps in there with one down here in the sixth. Yeah, last year James McDonald got to face his cousin Darnell of the Red Sox and retired him all 4 times. Family duel.
Yeah.
You don't see that too often.
Bragging rights around the holidays.
Absolutely.
Man, last year 31 starts for McDonald, and he was 9-9 with a .421 earned run average. Not bad numbers. His first year in the big leagues was with the Dodgers. That was back in 08. Made 4 appearances out of the bullpen.
Here's the 2-2 to Morgan. And he fouls another one off. You know, one of his goals when the season began, he saw the progress that Pittsburgh was able to make last year, and it was largely due to successful pitching. He wanted to take it upon himself to be the leader of this staff, and really his numbers early on clearly back that up. Morgan hits it hard down the right field line. Does he have enough? He does! It's out of here! Morgan, his second home run of the season and the series. Well, the Brewers now 5-3.
Almost a carbon copy of the pitch location that he hit his first home run on Friday night. Down and in, and he's able to keep it fair, and that was a line drive bullet out of here to right field.
Hart lays down the ball, and he is safe at first. Now the Brewers have something going. Tony Plush coming out from the dugout.
Not often you have your number 3 hitter bunting for a base hit, but that's what Corey did. Like pulling the hands in and ripping it out of here to right field. And check out Hart and dropping down the bunt. You can see McGee behind the bag at third base. No contest.
All right, so let me get this straight. You've got the light-hitting Morgan hitting a home run and the heavy-hitting Hart bunting in consecutive at-bats.
That's the genius of the whole thing.
There you go.
You never know what's going to happen out here. All of a sudden, the tying run comes to the plate. That's only the 3rd home run allowed by James McDonald this year. He's done a nice job keeping it in the ballpark. And Nyjer Morgan turning on one.
Now Taylor Green, who's batting cleanup in this game for the Brewers. Barajas, nice block to keep Corey Hart over at first. Only one down here in the 6th inning. Taylor Green, a big RBI double with 2 down in the first inning. Looking for his first home run this season. Two and 0. And he misses again.
Man, good take right there. Not by much.
Taylor Green, last year's minor league player of the year for Milwaukee. .336, 22 home runs and 91 RBIs. Looking to keep this inning going. Run home already. Corey Hart at first, 1 down. He represents the tying run. Corey Hart bunting his way on.
Not a bad time to do it. You're down by a couple of runs. You need base runners. If it was a one-run deficit or it was a tie game, not so great of a decision by Corey, but and now you got the tying run to the plate. The count in his favor in Taylor Green.
And he walks him. Now time to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery, and McDonald in this game at 95, and the other starter Mike Fiers at 90. Fiers out of this game, and McDonald trying to fight his way through.
Yeah, there is activity down in that Pirates bullpen, but I would be surprised if they don't allow McDonald to get out of this mess on his own. I mean, certainly earned that privilege with the season he's been able to put up so far this year.
There's Jared Hughes warming up in that Pirate bullpen. Donald Driver's charity softball tournament is today in Appleton, and Paul Imming is there. Read his coverage later today at foxsportswisconsin.com.
Next bat, the second baseman, Ricky Weeks.
Ray Surge, the pitching coach, out to talk with McDonald.
Yeah, Brewers didn't have a base runner for 4 innings, and they've been able to put their last 3 guys on.
Well, let's see what Ricky Weeks can do. He's suddenly getting a hot bat here. Already an RBI single in this game. That was back in the first. Had a big game yesterday, was on base 4 times. Team's doing pretty well this afternoon with runners in scoring position. Corey Hart out at second base right now for Milwaukee. Inside to Weeks to even the count.
And one of the few changeups that James McDonald's thrown. Now he's even in the count 1-1. I don't expect to see many of those pitches to right-handed batters. He usually throws a changeup, if he ever throws it, to lefties.
Right down the middle for strike 2. Yesterday was Ricky Weeks' first multi-hit game since April 17th. Down a ball and 2 strikes, 1 down to James McDonald here in the 6th. And Barajas again, a good stop.
That was the pitch right there that struck Ricky out his last time up, the curveball. This time a little bit too far down in the zone. Ricky able to hold up.
The 21st pitch of the inning coming up for McDonald. The first inning was the one he struggled with the most. He had 23. In between, he's been very efficient. Brewers trying to make him pay here in the 6th. Here's the 2-2 to Weeks. Well, we talked about it once already here this afternoon about the ability for Ricky Weeks to not just get hot rock. He doesn't need to get hot so much as just more consistent at this point.
Right.
And then set yourself up for that hot streak.
And the Brewers need him if they're going to, do any damage in this division. They got to get Ricky going.
Here's the 2-2. And Ricky strikes out.
That curveball. The same pitch that got him his last time up. 6 pitch at bat. Ricky Weeks. James McDonald. He started him out with a curveball. It was obvious that McDonald didn't want to give him a fastball that was hittable. Curveball, changeup. There's a fastball right on the outside corner. And here's a pitch right here. This next one, pitch number 5 that Ricky had. It was a good pitch to hit. And he came back with a curveball to get him. Well located down and away.
2 down now for Cody Ransom. 7 strikeouts in this game for McDonald so far. Fire struck out 8 through 5 before he left. But also left with a deficit. Ransom takes a first pitch ball. Ransom struck out back in the first and flew out to center in the 4th inning. He's been able to come through with some clutch base hits and RBIs in his limited time in a Brewer uniform. There's a strike into Ransom. Brewers asking a lot from this guy who was released by Arizona and picked up while the team was in Phoenix on that road trip last week. Fill a big void over at short with Gonzalez and Izturis on the disabled list.
And they say Izturis is coming along nicely. Expected to return when his 15 days are up.
Be good news for Ron Renicky. He was talking today that Travis Ishikawa, Marco Estrada coming along a little slower than expected. You would think one by one they got to get healthier. Ransom lays off 2-2.
And it'd be one thing, it was just the Brewers that have had this rash of injuries, but it's been every team. There's a ton of players on the disabled list right now. All over baseball. Big names.
Ransom to left, and it pokes foul.
Nice catch.
Everyone's got to be alert. Front row guys appreciate that.
Yeah, don't try this at home. He is a professional down there. A line drive with a hook on it, and he's able to make the catch and save a couple of fans.
And that ball coming out of the shadows into the sunlight, not easy to do.
And I think the way he caught it, he saved himself more than anybody. Kind of came on him quickly.
Worth another look.
Yep. Oh, yeah, he had it all the way. Nice catch.
Look at it. He knew who he was going to give it to right away. Nice job. All right, let's see if Ransom can straighten it out. Corey Hart and Taylor Green on base, 2 down. Brewers trail by 2 runs. Ransom lays off to run it full. Pitches this inning already for James McDonald. Runners will be on the move on the pitch. And a cold strike 3. And McDonald works through it. Gives up 1. And that's it. Strands 2. Niger Morgan got to him early with a solo home run. Brewers within 5-3.
Reminder for just $50. Purchase 4 Terrace Reserve tickets to select Sunday home games and receive 4 coupons for free hot dogs and small sodas. Family Day tickets are $12.50 each. Visit Brewers.com/Family Days.
We move to the top of the 7th. Cameron Lowe stays on the mound for his 2nd consecutive inning in relief of Mike Fiers. And he opens up against Jose Tabata. Pirates lead 5-3 over Milwaukee. They have hit 3 home runs in this game. 2 off of Fiers and 1 off of Lowe back in the 6th. Little tapper Green makes the play for the first out. Take a look at our Toyota game summary here this afternoon. The Brewers were able to get their runs early, 2 in the inning, but the Pirates 3 home runs. McCutchen, Jones, and Barajas have rallied behind James McDonald, who is pitching a very strong game. 6 strong innings so far and 8 strikeouts. Morgan has a solo home run for Milwaukee.
Let's see if McDonald's going to come out for the 7th inning. We've got some activity down in that Pirates bullpen. I know the Brewer offense would like to see McDonald out of the game. He's been tough.
Here's Neil Walker batting against Lowe. And Juan Cruz warming up in that Pittsburgh bullpen. Bullpen, like starting pitching, has been pretty strong for the Pirates so far this year. You know, their big Achilles heel coming into this series, they were averaging less than 3 runs a game, 2.94 a game coming in.
Yeah.
And they played at 8 on Friday night, just 1 last night in the loss, and they've hit 3 home runs and lead at 5-3 so far here this afternoon.
Yeah, the Pirates 2nd in the National League in earned run average as a team.
Weeks diving try, can't get it, and a base hit for Neil Walker.
Yeah, the starters have a 3.63 ERA. The relievers a 2.54. So bullpen's been strong.
Well, Andrew McCutchen making his way up, and time now for our AT&T Uverse reverse replay. And it was Andrew McCutchen with that big home run in the 5th inning with 2 down that helped propel the Pirates to that big 3-run 5th to take the lead.
Yeah, that was a 9-pitch at bat. Finally able to turn on a Mike Fiers slider, and that gave the Pirates the lead.
Home run and a single so far in this game for McCutchen. He bats with 1 down and Walker over at first base against Cameron Lowe. That turned out to be one of those classic battles of the young pitcher and an up-and-coming, more veteran-like hitter right here between Fiers and McCutchen. Big swing and a miss.
And good sinker from Cameron Lowe. That's his bread and butter when he gets on top of it. And not only get that movement going in on a right-handed batter, he'll also get it to go down. That's where he gets a lot of his ground ball outs.
Another big swing and a miss. 1-2 now on McCutchen. Through this series, he has done just about everything. Hit for the cycle in the series. He's tripled, doubled, homered, got his singles, played center field awfully well.
He's a good player. He'll be an all-star this year.
Tapper goes foul.
It's just one of those things, you know, you're in a market like Pittsburgh. They don't have a big payroll, and you know that once McCutchen gets to his free agent year, he's going to be somewhere else. That's what makes it so tough on these small market clubs. I mean, it's an old story, but it's true. And teams like the Pirates, sometimes like the Brewers, are not able to keep their player. More likely now for Milwaukee than in years past.
And called strike 3 on McCutchen. Big out for Cameron Lowe.
That's a nice breaking pitch right there. That's more like a curveball than a slider that caught the outside corner. And a beauty.
That brings up Garrett Jones with 2 down. Walker remains over at first, and now Ron Renicky makes his way out to the mound. And he's going to make a change. Juan Perez, the lefty, is going to make his way in and replace Cameron Lowe here in the 7th inning. Seventh appearance in a Brewer uniform.
And tossed a scoreless 7th inning on Friday night against these Pirates, including a strikeout. Did a nice job with the punch-outs this year with Milwaukee. 9 strikeouts in just 4 2/3 innings so far. Got called up on May 19th.
So he's going with the matchups here. Neil Walker at first base. He will face Garrett Jones. Garrett Jones, his last at bat was a big one for him, a solo home run, and it was against Mike Fiers, giving up back-to-back home runs. That was the second. That was a big inning for the Pirates. Back in the 5th, they scored 3. And now lefty versus lefty here. Perez against Jones. Perez needs some success rate here. The Brewers have to stay tight here. It's starting to get a bit late. Final 3 innings of the game. Trail by 2 runs.
And this is why Juan Perez is on this ball club, to retire a couple of lefties. He's been very good at getting out left-handed batters, and the way he's gone so far, even right-handers have had a tough time against him.
Pops him up. Foul territory. Green looks like he has room and makes the out. Final out of the 7th inning, and Perez does his job.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
Does his job in relief, holding the Pirates in check. And let's take a look now at some social media through Twitter. Of course, you can reach us at our handle at FS Wisconsin. Talking replay, Love Rock's comments on instant replay. Of course, we were talking about the no-hitter with Johan Santana the other day. Carlos Beltran, some controversy down the third base line. 30 seconds to watch a replay is faster than a manager arguing for 5 minutes. That's also a point that has been brought up as well. But would it only take 30 seconds? Replay has no place in baseball. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Interesting comments as well. And one more. Keep replays out of baseball or it will get as bad as the NFL. The replay rules are excessive and abused in the NFL, according to some of our fans, and all valid points. And Rock, as you were mentioning earlier, everyone's got an opinion, and the opinion should count to a certain degree, but those making the rules will determine maybe in the near future, especially in the postseason, if that will be expanded or not.
Yeah, a lot of that is all part of the general managers meetings, the owners meetings. They talk about that stuff in the offseason and how they want to handle any rule changes and things that come up with respect to replay, and anything that baseball decides always has to get run through the Players Association. I would be surprised if replay is not expanded at some point. We'll see.
Juan Cruz takes over for the Pirates. So James McDonald out, making his 22nd appearance out of the bullpen this season. And let's see if this helps Milwaukee and get that offense cranked out. McDonald doing a number through 6 innings.
And hasn't allowed a run in 10 games on the road. We talked about Cameron Lowe hadn't allowed a run on the road. Juan Cruz the same. And Cruz retired all 3 batters that he faced on Friday night and had a couple of strikeouts. Well, I guess if you're a Brewer hitter, anybody but James McDonald's got to look a little bit better to you.
Well, we'll find out if that's indeed the case for Milwaukee. You saw Hernandez come in to play left, and Tabata now over and right for the Pirates. And Brooks Conrad will lead off the Brewer 7th inning. First pitch, a strike from Cruz.
Yeah, as good as McDonald seemed to pitch today, Brewers laid 3 runs on him today, although one of them was earned, 2 of them unearned, but that's a season high. It ties the season high runs allowed for McDonald this year. That tells you how good he's been.
And good enough to weather that storm to leave with the lead. He's in position to win this game unless the Brewers can battle back. Both bullpens are active right now. The Brewers have K-Rod up and Pirates have Tony Watson going. Conrad looks at strike 3. So Cruz comes in and gets the first out via the strikeout.
Yeah, that's 3 in a row by Pirate pitching. Weeks, Ransom, now Conrad. Yeah, looking at his slider down and in, and he gets rung up.
Martin Maldonado, the Brewer catcher, with 1 down here in the 7th. He looks to lay down a bunt, but it goes foul. Corey Hart successful in the last inning, laying down a bunt and reaching base. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming text the broadcast. Do you see Martin Maldonado catching more these days than George Kataris? Mike from Stevens Point wants to know. We talked earlier about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, right now George has been hampered by a bad hamstring, and it's going to be really one game, through the rotation. He's going to catch George, or I should say Randy Wolf. We'll see what happens when Qatar is, is a little bit more healthy with that hamstring. Brewers need some offense. You might see George catch a little bit more, but not right now.
He caught on Friday night and was very happy, as was Ron Renicky, that he made it through without re-aggravating that any further. Guitarist on deck. Maldonado hits one high left field. Does he have enough? And it's gone for a home run for the Brewer pitcher. And just that fast, the Brewers are within 5-4. How about that? Last couple of innings, some light hitters have done the job. Morgan and now Maldonado.
Well, I guess he didn't like the comment I made about if Ron Renicky wants some more offense, he wants George in there. So what does he do? He hits the next pitch out of the ballpark. There you go. Martin Maldonado, his first major league home run. And he's going to be able to get the ball back because it goes into the Brewers bullpen.
Didn't know they were listening that far away, but apparently they are.
Now, you always have to assume they're listening.
That's right. Well, the Brewers not done yet, and now Edwin Masonette will step into the batter's box in the pitcher's spot.
Man, it was George Guitarist on deck until that home run was hit. I'm going to save George for later in the ball game and allow Masonette to try and get on base.
Well, if he can get on base, it's the top of the order for the Brewers as Aoki waits.
The thinking for Renicky there was he's assuming that Maldonado is going to get on and thinking George might be able to tie it up. George sits down and waits for later in the ball game.
He'll have his time before this one is over. You just have that feeling. It's been a back and forth ball game. Strike to Masonette. 1-2 with one down. Brewers scored 2 in the first inning. Pirates got one back in the second, then scored 3 more in the fifth. 1 in the sixth, and the Brewers were able to answer in the sixth, and another home run here in the seventh inning. So a 5-4 game. Pirates have out hit the Brewers 10-5. Masonette strikes out. Our Pizza Hut delivery of the game, the Brewer catcher Martin Maldonado.
Hanging slider just kind of spinning up there, and Maldonado able to hit it hard, got under it, but the ball's counting pretty well here today. Just out of the reach of Hernandez in left. That's got to feel good for Martin. First career home run. Just out of the reach of the Pirates left fielder.
Well, he had some fun at the plate in his first game of the season last Tuesday night. Did Maldonado. Got his first career hit. Here's Aoki. Walker takes care of him at second base. The Brewers get one back. Maldonado's solo home run. And we are through 7 innings. And the Brewers are within 1 run of the Pirates. It's a 5-4 game.
Milwaukee on Tuesday. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. It will be mostly cloudy for this game. Chance for a couple of showers around. If you are heading out, certainly grab that umbrella. It will be a little bit cooler. First pitch temperature at 68 degrees and a little bit breezy.
All right, day off on Monday for the Brewers. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap starting Tuesday. That 3-game series against the Cubs Tuesday and Wednesday night, and then Thursday afternoon, all games televised here on Fox Sports Wisconsin as Dale Swain brings the Chicago Cubs in. And speaking of entering play, K-Rod on the mound now for the Brewers, making his 26th appearance and coming in with the team trailing 5-4.
Yeah, K-Rod and John Axford had a pretty good time of it in Los Angeles. K-Rod with 3 holds and John Axford 3 saves. Last pitch against the Dodgers on Wednesday to a scoreless 8th inning. That's what the Brewers need right now, a scoreless 8th inning.
Matt Hague now up. He is 0 for 3 in this game. Struck out back in the 5th. He faces K-Rod now for the first time this afternoon. Pirates came into this series having a very good 9-game homestand of their own. They went 6-3. That success got him back to 500 and in competition in the National League Central, which over that period of time saw the Reds jump to the top, and now they've opened up a lead over the Cardinals. 3.5 games coming into today.
Aroldis Chapman now the closer for Cincinnati. You knew that was only a matter of time, didn't you?
Absolutely. It was all about timing for the Reds, and it all fell into place and has so far here in the last few weeks. Cardinals have been reeling. Speaking of injuries, it seemed to happen when Lance Berkman went back on the disabled list.
Ebbs and flows. You know, teams get hot, they cool off a little bit, they go into a period of time when they're not playing all that well. Every team goes through it.
Pop up Ricky Weeks will take it shallow right field for the first out here in the 8th inning. Cincinnati taking on Houston, and they trail 5-3 in that game in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, Houston has lost 8 in a row. One long ago, the Cubs had a 12-game losing streak. They won 3 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row. Trying to find that consistency, like just about every other team in this division, this National League Central.
It's been tough to do, but through all of the injuries and the lack of consistency on the Brewers' end, you still have to feel pretty good and almost look at that one spot in the standings and say you're still in it.
It could be a lot worse if the Cardinals continue to play well like they did in the beginning of the year. They've lost 4 straight. They're only a game over 500 right now, St. Louis. So with all that's going on, and the Brewers really haven't found their stride. They're not out of it. I mean, far from it. They're right in it.
We're 6.5 out entering play today. The Pirates were only 4 out. There's a strike as Casey McGee can't hold. 1-2 now. Casey struck out his last time up, but has doubled and walked in this game. Called strike 3, and McGee is out for the second out.
Yep, right on that outside corner at the knees. Phil Cuzzy ringing him up. Not sure if you're going to get many swings on a pitch like that. That's about as perfect as it gets. The Hall of Fame Express right there.
No doubt about that, and Maldonado doing a nice job behind the plate, holding that ball up. Rod Barajas now with 2 outs. One thing I've been impressed with in watching Maldonado behind the plate, Rock, is how active he is. He's in different stances. He's showing his athleticism.
Yep, almost urging his pitcher to put the ball in the glove. I mean, he's got a lot of emotion back there. He has a lot of energy back behind home plate.
Frames up K-Rod here, and there's another strike. Francisco Rodriguez looking good here so far in the 8th inning. Working efficiently. All important now for the Brewer bullpen to do their job to allow the team to rally for a potential victory. Soft grounder. Ransom's got it. And there's the final out in the 8th. 1-2-3 for Francisco Rodriguez. It's 5-4 Pittsburgh.
Davey Nelson. Davey, the Brewers have battled back. Still a little work to do, though.
Well, they certainly do. You know, they have come back, Mark, but I like the way they battled back. You know, this team is trying to pull it together, but, you know, there is some work to do. It's up to the bullpen. Hopefully we can score this inning.
We will wrap it all up for you coming up next on Brewers Live Postgame. We'll hear from Ron Renicky, the postgame story from the clubhouse, and our postgame instructional all next on Brewers Live. Craig and Rock.
All right, guys, looking forward to that. Let's see if the Brewers can rally. Josh Harrison now at third defensively for Pittsburgh. And Casey McGee goes from third to first. And the new pitcher is now Jason Grilli.
Yeah, look at the numbers for Grilli. A 1-1 record, a 1.8 earned run average. He's allowed 2 home runs in 21 appearances so far this year. 35 strikeouts in just 20 innings. That's impressive.
Bullpen very strong for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Center fielder, Niger Morgan.
Niger Morgan set the lead off for the Brewers. Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment of the game. Last at bat as he lines a home run to right field, his second of the season and his second of this series against the Pirates, his former team. And Morgan set the lead off the 8th inning for Milwaukee, trailing 5-4. Let's see what he can do against Grilli. He tries to bunt his way on, and it goes foul.
Yeah, Grilli with a very good breaking ball. According to the Pirates' notes, Grilli has struck out 9 of the last 14 batters that he's faced. He's got tremendous stuff. He's only got 10 walks in that stretch in 22 appearances now.
Morgan takes a strike. Elijah Morgan is starting to swing a better bat for Milwaukee now. Has found his power. And it's really not so much that he needs to find his power, but come through some clutch base hits. And if they are home runs, then you know Niger can hit him every once in a while. That was a big one in his last at bat. That drew Milwaukee within 5-4.
Well, the one thing you don't want to have Niger doing is thinking to pull the baseball. That's not his game. His game is slapping it to left, hitting it up the middle. Once he starts thinking pull, that's when you get a lot of those ground out to second base.
Fly ball, McCutcheon, center field. And that's the first out here in the 8th inning. So McCutcheon makes the first out, and now Corey Hart with one down here in the 8th inning. John Axford up throwing for Milwaukee. If the Brewers can rally here, they will go to their closer. He will be ready. Let's see what Corey Hart can do now to get things going with one down. Corey with a base hit in this game, and it came via the bunt last time up. As Tommy hits it to right. Hernandez coming in and makes the catch.
Yeah, that heavy sinker from Grilly able to eat him up inside and got him right down on the handle. Easy out to left field.
So quickly 2 down here in the Brewer 8th, and the third baseman Taylor Green. Taylor, the Brewers' number 4 hitter here this afternoon for Ron Renicky. Aramis Ramirez missing today's game with the quad pull. Ryan Braun not playing for the 3rd time in 4 games for the Brewers because of that Achilles. And it's going to be interesting with the day off Monday come Tuesday to see what kind of shape both those players are in, because Ron Renicky was talking before the game that there could be a potential of Ramirez going to the disabled list. You hate to even bring it up, but obviously that possibility looms at this point.
Yeah, and I think that the reason Ryan Braun was not in the lineup today was because of tomorrow's off day, and you would think he would be ready to go on Tuesday against the Cubs.
Green takes a whack at that 2-0 pitch and fouls it back. One thing that the Brewers would like to see from Ryan Braun is a healthy Ryan Braun and not continue to play through lingering injuries.
Yeah, even Ryan Braun at 75% is better than most. As long as he doesn't try and steal bases. As tough as that may be for him, with the leg injury and the hip and the Achilles, you're just better off going station to station and keeping that bat in the lineup.
Of course, he had the stolen base attempt on Friday night. Aggravated that hip. Aggravated the Achilles. Green draws the walk. He's had some good at-bats in this game. Second walk for Green.
Now that brings up Ricky Weeks representing the go-ahead run. You just saw Ryan Braun get up off the bench. As you get down toward the bottom of the order, you might see Ryan get a bat.
Well, that's the thing. He's not starting, but he's available. Still swing the bat. There's Ryan Braun. Ricky Weeks, first pitch inside for a ball. Ricky singled and drove in a run back in the first inning and has struck out twice since. Again inside to Weeks. See if the Brewers can put together a 2-out rally against Grilly.
Ricky's got the count in his favor, 2-0. He can be pretty selective for the fastball. Something right down the middle. If it's not there, let it go.
And it's 3-0. Cody Ransom waits on deck. And Ricky draws a 4-pitch walk. 2 aboard. And the tying run now moves into scoring position.
Well, now Ryan Braun's going to hit for Cody Ransom. How about this? Question is, who's going to play shortstop? Masonette's gone already.
Well, Masonette's already appeared as a pinch hitter. And everybody on their feet here at Miller Park for the reigning MVP, who's going to make a pinch hit appearance. With 2 down and 2 on, and the team trailing 5-4 here in the 8th inning. Ray Serge, the pitching coach, out to talk to Grilly as he makes his way back.
The shortstop, Cody Ransom. Number 8, Ryan Braun.
Taylor Green at second, Ricky Weeks at first. They reach via the walk. Ryan Braun hits one to right and deep to the wall, and it's caught out there by Tabata.
Almost.
Took a whack at that first pitch, and not quite enough. The angst of the Brewer fans, oh so close. That would have been something. He takes over in center field for Milwaukee, and that just prompts one of many moves. Nigel Morgan goes from center to right. Corey Hart started out in right field. Now he moves to first base, and you see off in the distance in that infield, Brooks Conrad goes from first to short. It's been that kind of year, and that kind of stretch right now for Ron Renicky, having to pull off those kind of moves, as John Axford now enters the game, making his 22nd appearance, and was maybe a foot or two away from coming in a save opportunity. Ryan Braun sounded good off the bat, didn't it?
It did, and he hit it in the right spot, that short area down and right, but missed it maybe by a half an inch on that bat. Axford coming in for the 22nd time. He had 3 saves in that Dodger series, and he's got a .326 earned run average. And look at the strikeouts. 31 punch-outs in just a little over 19 innings. Boy, Ryan Braun, inches on that bat, maybe a half an inch on that bat from giving the Brewers a 2-run lead.
It sounded good, it took off well, and it made it to the wall, but not over the wall. Game not over, though. John Axford, if he could do his job here, the Brewers get one more crack before this one is over. The Axeman came up with 3 saves on the recent road trip. Doing a real nice job, and you talked about Francisco Rodriguez getting his groove on, if you will, in the last inning. Certainly John Axford doing the same right now for Milwaukee.
Yeah, he pitched 4 days in a row. He pitched the final game in Arizona, then 3 consecutive days with saves, but hasn't pitched since Wednesday. And I think that's exactly what Axford needed, that consistent, work out of the bullpen in tough spots. And I think you're going to find a much more consistent John Axford because of it. Not that he was bad to start with, but he just wasn't in sync, it didn't seem.
Barmes hits it hard. Aoki going back and watches this one take a bounce on the top of the rail and over the wall for a solo home run. Boy, oh boy, game of inches as Ryan Braun just misses and Clint Barmes connects.
Yep, right off the top of the wall and into that Brewers bullpen. And Clint Barmes with a couple of RBIs. Centering on a high fastball and able to ride it on out of here. Well, that's a big run right there. Now the Pirates with a 2-run lead.
Well, Barmes, who was struggling mightily coming into this game, has 2 base hits, including that home run and 2 RBIs. Dorcas Hernandez now bats. .222 on the season for Hernandez. He came in as a defensive replacement. One thing about Axford getting in a groove has been those consecutive save opportunities. He hasn't, up until last week, hadn't had a lot of opportunities in a row.
All right. And most of the times that he's been out on the mound before last week were just trying to get work in, for the Axeman. And as we all know from past experience, sometimes the closer doesn't have his main focus when he comes in when the team is down. So save opportunities where the guy is really locked down.
Center field, Carlos Gomez makes the catch for the first down. Carlos Gomez was mentioned by Ron Renicky in the midst of all the injury talk again here today with Ramirez and Braun not being able to start in today's game that He thought for sure when Gomez went on the DL that he'd be able to pop right back after that 15 days and be ready to go, but that hamstring is still bothering him and has limited his play to be the 100% go-go kind of guy.
Yeah, those are tricky injuries. You know, groins and hamstrings. Sometimes those things last all year. Really not running, as you mentioned, not striding out like he normally is. He's kind of taking it easy on that leg. Still runs pretty good, but like you said, not like Carlos Gomez can.
And of course, there's going to always be that underlying fear of if it's not 100%, you don't want to re-aggravate it, because sometimes then it can be worse. Seen that happen. Tabata now in there with a 3-0 count against John Axford and 1 down. 6-4 Pirates here in the 9th inning. There's a strike from the Axeman. When this series began, the Brewers had a 38-4 record since 2007 here at Miller Park against the Pirates. Pittsburgh threatening to take this series from Milwaukee to try to win 2 out of 3. And he just walks. Tabata.
Second baseman Deal Walker.
Certainly not the normal lineup that Ron Renneke is used to riding out in today's game. They've hung in there, though.
Yes, they have. They played some decent baseball with all the injuries that they've had, particularly the last week. But this is a very important stretch for the Brewers. You know, a nice long homestand, a 9-game, 10-day homestand for Milwaukee. Then you hit the road against Kansas City and Minnesota. You know, both of those American League teams under 500. Got to get something going and quick.
And this ball gets past Maldonado, so Tabata able to take second base. So runner in scoring position with 1 out for the Pirates here in the 9th inning. Clint Barmas drove home a run on the solo home run to lead off the inning. Gomez center field. Makes the catch. Tabata will tag and go to third. 2 down, though, more importantly, for John Axford. And the ever so dangerous Andrew McCutchen now walks up to the plate. It was McCutchen's 2-run home run with 2 down in the 5th inning off Mike Fiers that gave the Pirates a lead. They have not surrendered just yet. Struck out looking back in the 7th inning. Little tapper. Green. And there's the final out. Pirates get 1 on the Barmas home run. They lead by 2 in the Brewers' final at bat.
finishes are earned and celebrated. And he swings in the air, center field, way back, and down it goes! It's the last word, the closing act, the final step, the whole point. We don't remember the start. We never forget the finish. And Hart, a bouncing ball, base hit, and that's your ball game.
Well, let's see what the Brewers have in them here in the bottom of the ninth inning. They trail 6-4 to Pittsburgh, and they're going to face the Pirate closer Joel Hanrahan as Conrad has set the lead off the inning for the Brew Crew.
Yeah, good numbers for Hanrahan in game number 21. He has 7 saves and a win in his last 8 games. Has converted 13 of 14 this year.
First pitch a strike against Brooks Conrad. Conrad started at first for Milwaukee and just moved over to shortstop last inning. 0 for 3 in this game. Hits it high and hard right field. Brooks Conrad has hit a home run, and the Brewers are within 1 at 6-5. What a start to the inning.
Oh, there's one. 2 more runs. Make anybody happy here at Miller Park. Well, Conrad's starting to heat up a little bit. 3rd home run allowed by Joel Hanrahan this year. A leadoff blast. How important was that Clint Vargas home run? Wow.
The one that skipped over the rail and out of the park. Here's Martin Maldonado now. He hit a home run his last time up. And he hits it hard, center field. And McCutcheon is there. 1 down.
They're not messing around, are they? Attacking early. Hanrahan looking in the outfield saying these guys aren't messing around here. Check out Conrad, pitch up and away, and he's able to hook it. He got under it, but it carried pretty well and ended up dropping in that Pirates bullpen. Been a lot of bullpen shots today in both bullpens.
They're not the ones that get the souvenirs.
No.
George Kataris, more than capable of tying this game up, steps in as a pinch hitter.
Only player left on Reneke's bench is Aramis Ramirez. He's probably not available.
6-5 ball game. Seven home runs in this game between the two clubs. Miller Park a launching pad here on this Sunday afternoon. It's been a good game. 6-5 right now. Bottom of the ninth, 1 down. And Kataris takes another ball. It's 3-0.
Brewers have had some dramatic finishes against Joel Hanrahan in his career. This could be another. We'll see.
There's a strike to Kataris, 3-1. And George Kataris walks. So a 1-out walk, tying run over at first base. As we take a look at our Powerball home run leaderboard, Braun at the top of the pack with 14. Corey Hart with the 11.
Well, he got a pinch runner for George Kataris. It's going to be Randy Wolf. George not running well at all, and there's Wolfie representing the tying run.
I'm sure Ron Reneke said, everybody out here, who's got fresh legs? Because we need you.
Who can walk?
Here's Aoki, who is 0 for 4 from the leadoff spot today. He is due. He has been swinging a hot bat of late for the Brewers. .349 over his last 21 games coming into today's action. And now it's 2-0. And Barajas is going to go out and talk to his closer.
And so is Ray Sirich. Brewers have shown good patience in the last couple of innings. The Pirates and Grilly walked 2 in the 8th. Gutaris has drawn a walk in this inning, and Aoki ahead in the count 2-0. James McDonald did not walk a batter. Yes, he did. 1. He walked Taylor Green.
McDonald still in line for the victory. Brewers would like to erase all that right now. Here's the 2-0. There's a strike in the outside corner. Aoki 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts in the mix. To second base. Will this do it? And it is. 4-6-3 double play. And the Pirates stop the Brewers rally here in the 9th inning. They get 1, but fall 1 run short. And Pittsburgh wins this game 6-5. It takes the series here at Miller Park 2-1. Still to come on Brewers Live. We'll take a look at this series since 2007 between these two clubs, our on-field instructional, and also hear from the manager Ron Renneke coming up next.